So this is. Have you had any of the Northern Monk stuff, Stu? I know you haven't had this one, but you had any of the beers before?
I've had two. I think I had one at New Year's. It was sort of like a box of craft beer I got at Christmas, and I did try one at a tasting night, but I got that far into the night I couldn't remember. I remember the artwork, but I don't remember the beer. Like, what was it taste like? It tasted like whatever something else would taste like after sampling 8 other beers.
Yeah, was it a bit wrong in terms of the order? Was it?
Possibly. It just got to the point where the tasting was really for 6 beers, and after that, it's like just raking through the fridge. Let's have that one. Okay.
Normally, what happens? Yeah. And you're a fan of this one, Crummy?
I can't remember if I'm a fan of this one or not, because I can't remember if this is Citra hopped, in which case I'm probably not a fan, but I will drink it anyway.
That's the spirit.
Yeah. But in general, I've had quite a lot of Northern Monk stuff, and I think for a brewery that's managed to get into the supermarket and retain its craft credential, they probably do that balance better than anyone else does. Don't necessarily get on with all of their beer, especially their pale stuff. I actually think their darker beer is better, but on the whole, I can't really complain about Northern Monk. I've got nothing notably negative to say, and I think it could potentially fill a large gap that a certain dog-based brewery might leave at some point. So
it's true. They do have I think a steadily climbing amount of beers in there. It seems to get bigger every time I go in the supermarket, which is cool to see, because they seem to have some really cool stuff in their back catalogue. Right, lads, let's do it.
I do remember when we were planning this episode, I sent you pictures of 3 330ml tins, and you had ended up getting this one.
Yeah. You said get the most easygoing beer, I think, was your request.
This was not in the picture.
Something
I sent
like
you.
that.
How very Tom of you.
That's the that's the story of the logs right there. Seems to be a recurring trend.
One planning, another one not listening.
Yeah, I won't go that far. Don't know, maybe.
Oh,
I'll ask my therapist, see what he says.
I feel like, look at the clarity on that.
The colour's lovely, yeah. Colour is lovely.
But pale custard.
It really is, yeah.
That's when I smelt it.
Super fruity.
It's like a slap in the face. A tender slap in the face.
Fairly confident that is Citra in there. Does it say on the can? I don't think they tell you what their hops are from them.
Have you had a bad experience with Citra in the past?
Citra doesn't like me. It just gives me, large amounts of Citra gives me a headache very quickly.
Okay.
But I know it's becoming less of an issue the more and more craft beer I drink that has it in. I think it was one of those where I'd normally avoid it, and when you're not doing beer reviews, you can just avoid it most of the time, and then you end up with one accidentally, and it has terrible effects. But I'll probably end up drinking a beer with at least a little bit of it in now, probably most weeks, or certainly every other week. And it's becoming, I still don't enjoy a lot of it, but I can start to appreciate it a little bit now. So
well, thank you for being a trooper, and if you are puking tomorrow, we apologise. Cheers, lads.
Cheers.
It's like a great big sorbet, that one, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's got like a sticky kind of bitterness to it, which is nice. It's nice. It's refreshing. Like, it's got like a kind of a nice fruity crush taste to it.
It's like someone's home brewing mbongo.
A little bit like an alcoholic mbongo. I'm down with that.
Got just a kickload more grapefruit flavour in it though. Really drives.
Yeah, it's quite dry still as well, isn't it? It's
quite a good representation of US style beers in the UK. Actually,
Yeah,
because a lot of people don't necessarily pull that off very well, but Northern Monk do for sure.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to take my time drinking that one. Move it over here. Just going to leave it there and appreciate it.
Yeah,
because it's quite easy drinking.
Leave, let that one cool down before you take another sip, Stu. So yeah, this is Transient, a hazy DDH IPA from Northern Monk, sitting at a saucy 7%. These guys are an independent brewery based in Holbeck, Leeds. They are not actual monks. I could tell by their haircuts. I'm very intuitive like that, you see, but instead are inspired by traditional monastic, if that's a word, brewing values with a progressive approach to ingredients and techniques. Established in 2014, their beer is brewed across 2 sites. Old Flax Store, a converted derelict mill where their tap room is based, and a second brewing site on Sydenham Road, where they pursue their spiritual goals by not putting their PPs into foo-foos or something else really fun like that. They seem to specialize in strong beers with an emphasis on IPAs, which generally make up their core line, with them expanding into porters, stouts, and pale ales for a lot of their seasonal output. Some fun ones I noticed were an Imperial Stout just called Death at 12%, just Death. Green Heathen, a CBD IPA, which sadly is not 4.20%. Mr. Trick there, guys. And Summer of Faith, a hazy rhubarb shandy, which sounds lovely. Right, I think it's so. Yeah, let's sum up this beer. What's everyone's thoughts? I'll go alphabetically. C S. Crummy, what's your thoughts, feelings, opinions on this beer?
To say I was adamant that it had Citra in it at the start, it's softened quite a lot, and as soon as you kind of get used to that grapefruit bitterness, actually it comes quite juicy and almost playful. It's still a little bit sharp, but it's not. It becomes much more. I think dangerous is the right word at 7%.
You definitely,
it's not a difficult drinker once you acclimatise to it. And just remember, this is a mass-produced supermarket beer,
and it's pretty damn good for.
It's incredible for a mass-produced supermarket beer, which is kind of what I was saying before, which is what Northern Monk do, I think, better than anyone else. So.
No, I agree. I feel like it's almost like a blend between a West Coast IPA and a New England IPA. It's somewhere in the middle. Like it's quite fruity and hazy, but it's quite dry and quite bitter at the same time. So I really, really like it, and it doesn't taste like a 7% beer. I mean, I'm starting to feel like I've been drinking a 7% beer, but in terms of taste, it's definitely doesn't taste like that. Stu, what are your thoughts on the matter?
It was awfully good.
Cool. So,
but yeah, Crummy said it. It became an easy drinking beer, which only made it more lethal. It is an absolute weapon. I'm glad I'm sitting down.
You said those 2 words. You brought them together. You didn't mean to, but you brought them together, and I appreciate you saying that. It was great.
It's like a buddy cop Christmas movie in a glass.
That's wow. That's all we need to know. That's all the listeners need to know.
I'm too old for this shit.